Hello, 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 Dumelang Kaofela, wherever you are joining us from. Welcome to the first episode of Blooming But I Fly. You didn't know.
No, I did not
You
know.
didn't know you're my first,
No.
my first guest.
No, I did not know that. Congrats on
Thank
you.
you.
On your first episode.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
My guest today, I'm so excited, guys. I know her as a different name. I have to practice how you guys know her because you know her. Ke Regomoditswe Modise.
I want to go.
No, oh my gosh, there we go.
You got the first name right, but the second one is my husband's name. So Regomoditswe Khoele. Khoele.
How's this for a first episode? How's this
I
for
love
a first
it.
launch? And I'm not cutting out. We're not cutting
We're not
out.
cutting. We're not cutting.
We're not
No,
cutting it out.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Regomoditswe Isis Khoele.
Khoele.
Yes.
My apologies.
No worries. Modise is my husband, so it's okay.
I call people by their surnames.
Uh-huh.
That means I've actually been calling him, imagining that that's his surname.
Surname. Okay. I got it. That's why you said
Okay.
Modise. Aha.
Okay.
No, that's his name. I know Modise is also a surname, but
Yes.
no, that's his name.
But genuinely, a lot of people, I'll call them by their surnames instead of their name.
Why?
I don't know. Like even like the father match, I don't call him by his name.
Oh,
I
wow.
call him by his surname or yeah.
No, man. No.
Okay. Let me put some respect on this guest name. She's a wife.
Yeah.
She's a charter pilot. She's a speaker and a content creator. And I ordered it that way because that's how you order it. And so I imagine that that's important to you. That's the order that you, show up as?
I think they're all important. I think it's very important to stack them up in the same level.
Okay.
They all have their different formats in my life and they're all important.
Okay.
Yeah. For the longest time, I did not call myself a pilot. For the longest time,
Really?
I didn't recognize myself as a pilot because I felt like I'm not yet an airline pilot. So I felt like, oh no, I don't have that, the accreditation to be like, I'm a pilot.
I had to educate myself. Like, what is a charter pilot?
Yes.
So if I understand that correctly, you fly private planes?
Yes.
Smaller planes?
Yes.
What would be an airline pilot?
Airline is where you travel from Johannesburg to Cape Town or from Johannesburg to Dubai, basically. So that's airline.
Okay.
Charter aircraft, you can still fly from Johannesburg to Cape Town, but you fly to smaller airports that are no-name airports, literally, like
So
they're
Bloom.
much smaller. Bloom, but Bloom you can still fly with the bigger aircraft. But yes, smaller aircraft, smaller strips. If you want to go to game lodges, you fly in those kind of small private aircrafts.
Okay.
So yeah, and also if you've got the money for it, I mean,
Okay.
those are pretty expensive aircrafts to fly. So
Okay, well, you've already gotten us into it. I'll start the other way around. I was going to get into the career, but it's interesting, this thing of you didn't call yourself a pilot. What did you feel you needed first until you identified as one?
I felt like I didn't have enough experience. The aviation industry is very difficult to get into. Even after graduating and getting my wings, I still did not fly immediately. So it took a while for me to actually start a job. So I graduated in 2014 and I only got my first flying job in 2017.
Wow, okay.
Yes. So therefore, I felt like, how do I go around calling myself a pilot, but I'm not flying? I want to be actually flying the aircraft and actually saying, yes, today I flew in from Bloom, today I flew in from Cape Town. I actually wanted to say that instead of saying, yes, I did graduate, but not currently flying.
Okay. So how does it work? Like you get your hours. I know you guys need to earn a certain number of hours.
Yes.
But is it that there's limited jobs? Why is it so hard to get in? Or is it that the funding, I know it's very expensive as well. Like what is the process from getting your hours and then flying?
The process from graduating, you graduate with about 200 hours.
Right.
And therefore, after that, you need to apply for a job. But most jobs need you to maybe have about 500 hours. So how are you going to gain that 300 hours in that meantime? So there's jobs that will be willing to train you and trust you. And it's an insurance thing. It's a thing of, our insurance doesn't cover someone who has small amount of hours. So you'll just have to literally keep searching for jobs that are willing to train you, who are willing to take that risk and say, it's fine, we know that you have small hours, but we are willing to train you, we're willing to take you through, and so that we can help you gain those hours.
Okay, so is it like similar to a graduate program, like after they graduate, be it an accountant or a lawyer, whatever, it takes like a company or corporation saying, come in for 1 or 2 years, we'll still pay you a salary, but you're actually training. Is it a similar process like that or no?
No, not really. It just really depends on the company if they're willing to take on that risk to put you onto their aircrafts, because the aircraft are expensive. So do you have that enough experience to be able to fly that particular aircraft? And also the training to go onto that next aircraft is much more expensive. So, for example, you were driving a Kia Picanto. Now, a company calls you and says, can you please drive a BMW X7? You know, I know you're still driving a car, but maybe there's different switches somewhere, and you know the car is heavier, right? So the aircraft is much heavier. You need to know how long it will take for you to land or to stop. You know, when you're landing. So there's different aspects to it.
It is expensive, right? To do that thing. And now you're saying it's hard to get a job. I would imagine then there's a lot of funding. You're a Black woman. I'd imagine that, the industry wants... your facial expression is saying something. What am I reading? What am I seeing from you? Is that not the case? Because I'd think that, in our country, there aren't many Black female pilots. You're clearly smart enough if you've completed your 200 hours. I want to invest in you and fund you so that you can get your 300. No?
No, it's not that simple in the aviation industry. Not a lot of companies are funding aviation. Even simply in the beginning, we went to the banks, and the banks also don't fund as well, not giving loans and stuff. So that was back then in 2011. So it is very difficult industry. So not a lot of companies are funding it. I literally got lucky, got lucky that a company was willing to train someone to be able to get their license. So there are actually a lot of Black women in the aviation industry. They're just not apparent because they're not getting to where they need to get. They are stuck because there is no funding.
And a lot of people are self-funded.
Yes.
And so then, like in our country, the resources, it's not everybody who has access to those resources. 100%. So you got very blessed and fortunate.
Yes.
Why aviation? How did, maybe take me through the process of choosing this career. Was it always something you wanted to do?
Yes, it was. Well, I wanted to do a lot of things. I wanted to be an interior designer and architecture. I wanted to be a model, but I wasn't tall enough.
You did do some modeling, though.
I did do a little bit of modeling. I entered Rand Easter show and I modeled there, but didn't win. I wasn't successful and I was still short. So I just gave up on modeling because I was too short. I watch Miss South Africa now. I'm like, oh, it could have been me, but no, I was too short. So unfortunately, that was not my path. There was a lot of things that I wanted to do. But what happened was my dad came home with a game. So I was a gamer. So we used to play PC games. So we never used to go to like a cousin's house during the holidays. You know that long 3-week holiday in June?
Yeah, the one we all look forward to.
For me, it was just like, oh, I'll be sitting at home because there's nothing for me to do. So while I was still sitting at home, we used to play games on the PC. So like Tomb Raider, Sims, so I'm a proper gamer and I'm very competitive.
So for the parents, this is where gaming works out.
Yes.
If you're panicking about your child's...
too much gaming. Gaming has its benefits.
That'll get me into trouble.
Look, gaming has its benefits if it's the right games, right? Right. Like Sims. Sims teaches you how to build a house, how to strategize. I feel like that helped me. But anyway, my dad then brought home a game called Flight Simulator. So it's a game about aircrafts, flying in aircrafts. And I played it, but I flew a helicopter as my first aircraft, and I crashed dismally. Like I crashed. I could not fly that thing. So we had a joystick as well, and it literally crashed all the time, and I just couldn't understand, like, why is this helicopter crashing? But then I was like so frustrated, and then I was like, okay, let me try a fixed wing aircraft. So fixed wing is one that has wings, not a helicopter, and that was a success. And I was like, oh, this is nice.
How old are you around this time?
I was about 14 years of age.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like, okay, this is nice. I like this. I enjoyed it because you get to take off. You get to take off from Johannesburg and land in Nevada in the USA, or land in China. Wherever you want to land, you're there. So it was some sort of escapism, which was really good. But then it was time actually at school to choose now subjects. But what helped me was that on the news, it said that there's a shortage of female pilots in the industry. I was like, is God trying to tell me something?
Yeah, there you go.
Is God trying to tell me that, you've been playing this game. Why don't you just pursue aviation? And that's when I was serious about it. And in high school, everybody knew that I wanted to be a pilot. And that's where it all started.
Okay. And, you speaking about your dad, you grew up in Pretoria.
And then I was born in Pretoria. I grew up in Johannesburg.
South of Johannesburg.
South of Johannesburg, yes.
Can you tell me a bit about your childhood? Just like, the first thing that comes to mind. So I know that's a broad question.
Yes, very broad question.
Like, I always say the first thing that comes up when you think childhood.
Sure. There's a lot that comes to mind. Not really particular good things. So I won't share the not good things.
Let me get specific for you then.
Yes.
What kind of kid were you?
What kind of kid was I? I think I was both a girly girl and a tomboy at the same time. I loved modeling. I loved makeup. I loved heels. But I also loved playing games, Need for Speed, games. Yeah, I think I love dancing. I love listening to High School Musical and dancing around in the house and, with the mop.
Yeah.
I was that kid, and I had younger siblings. So my childhood was mostly around my siblings.
You're the oldest.
I'm the oldest, and playing around with them and singing all the time in the house. I thought I could sing, until I met my husband, and he told me, babe.
Because they sing.
He's a singer.
He sings with his brother.
No,
they used to play in
church.
Yes.
So he's a musician. So he's like to me, no, babe, you're off key there. I'm like, no, I'm not off key. I'm just trying to experiment. And he's like, no, babe. So I stopped experimenting with music. So, but I used to, write music. I used to write music.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I used to, record myself, and I think I had a little group of girls that we used to be together and sing when we could. But yeah, that's what I used to do.
So where did you being the firstborn, where did the tomboy come from? A lot of times, when girl children, it's because there's like an older brother there or something. Where did that side of you come from?
The playing of games.
Okay.
The playing of games, because it was like Tomb Raider, Need for Speed,
Okay.
I liked those kind of games. Action. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it made me like a really tough girl.
Okay.
Although I could be soft at times.
Yeah. Do you know why I wanted you on the episode?
No,
I think people like you are so important. And I know that, you will say, I'm so nervous. I get nervous as well. I just want you to think of it as a human-to-human, woman-to-woman conversation where there's so many parts of your story that are us. Where, like when I called you, I said, oh my gosh, I revere, like I am such a supporter, but not only the YouTube stuff, we'll get to that, right? The achievement of what it takes to do this thing in this male-dominated industry with the color of your skin, hearing that actually I tried this and I tried this and I tried. Sometimes people think that, you just get to the thing. It's a passion, it's a purpose thing.
Yeah.
At 14, you said to yourself, is God trying to tell me something? So I think you're one of the people whose stories can speak to somebody who is figuring it out. Yeah. There's elements there of receiving a lot of no's.
Yes.
You saying, I wanted to be a model, I'm too short. I'm thinking, you're gorgeous. Of course you can be a model, right? And the industry has like diversified so much. Now you can model.
Dreamstream, a place to create yourself. Record video, music, and podcasts in our full-service studio. Record video, music, and podcasts in our full-service studio. DreamStream, a place to create yourself.
All sorts of things. Just here, babes. Just here. All the, like, you can.
Yeah, I could. I was like, when Miss South Africa, there's now married women. I'm like, I'm old now.
There's Mrs. South Africa.
I know. Now I'm
you
like,
know
I'm
what
old.
I mean?
Yes.
So I think that's important. And I just want you to, like, think of it that way. It's us getting to know the woman behind the thing that maybe feels very unattainable to a lot of people. But what I'm hearing is it was a little girl who gamed, like most of us did.
Yes.
Felt frustrated about something, and that turned into curiosity. Like, okay, this doesn't work. What's this? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And then all of us have to choose subjects, and you're like, I don't know, am I doing the science thing or not? And a loophole, but then also a divine something happening there.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's important. I think that is important. You said when you think childhood, not good things come up. What does that mean without, like, as comfortable as you feel?
I don't know how to explain it in a decent way. So that's why I wouldn't want to divulge
Go into it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because those are the parts of us that we don't see, right? You have a YouTube channel with your husband.
Yes.
You are a content creator. I think there's something about that's humanizing when you hear that somebody went through something you did and you can still, whoever, supports you and follows you, say, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can also
relate.
Not even just relate. I can also then overcome and be a pilot. I can also be a wife. I can also be like, there's something hopeful about seeing the not only well put together parts.
I agree.
Right? But there's also a respect for, I'm not ready to share that. That's not where I want to go. And I'm
100%.
hearing that.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, growing up in Pretoria, then moving to the south of Joburg.
Yes.
Is that like a huge like difference in terms of friendships, in terms of schooling, or?
I think I'm very adaptable, and I've always been adaptable since I was a young girl. So transitioning from Pretoria to Johannesburg wasn't that big of a deal. Everything came into place, and I was only I was starting grade 3 at that time, so I was still young. So only now when I travel back to Pretoria do I feel that presence of Pretoria, and I'm like, I don't know if you ever feel that when you go somewhere, you land somewhere, and you feel that presence. That's what I feel like when I'm in Pretoria. It feels like home. It feels beautiful. It feels
That's
amazing.
what Free State feels like for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm happy someone else feels that as well. I'm not the only person when I'm driving. I'm like, I'm home.
Funny enough, I say to people, Joburg doesn't feel like home, though I've lived here the longest.
Yes.
Like, I only moved to Joburg when I was 4.
Sure.
But every time I go back to Free State, there's something of, this is home.
Wow. Beautiful. And you were so young. You're only 4 years old.
I was only 4 years old.
And you still feel that.
Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah.
So but the transition to Johannesburg wasn't that big. I think I adjusted very well. I'm very adaptable. And I think that's a very good trait to have if you want to become a pilot, having an adaptable personality, because everything can change, anything can change, and you need to be on top of it. You need to encourage yourself that, you know what, it's fine. If this is not the route, let's go to route B.
Yeah. Where does that adaptability come from? Where would we see that influence,
I think that life is not consistent.
Okay.
Life changes, whether it be your home circumstances. If you're a firstborn child, you've got a sibling, so you need to adjust to being an older sibling.
Yeah.
You know, if your parents are not working, you need to adapt to being a provider financially.
Yeah.
So you're constantly adapting to different things in life. So I think that's where it all came from. It's just always knowing that nothing is consistent. You need to adjust to the new normal,
Right.
and learn from it, and then also grow from it as well.
Yeah. I've always experienced you as very reserved person, like to yourself. I don't know if that's true to who you. And then watching your YouTube channel, when you first came out with it, both you and Modise, I was like,
What are they doing?
these two, because both, like, my perception of both of you has always been very to yourself. And then I would, you can correct me if I'm wrong, describe you guys as, when the environment is comfortable, then you become extroverted. So then as time went, I'm like, okay, I see it. Is that correct? Is that a correct perception or experience of you?
Yeah, that is very true. I am an introvert by nature, but I am also an extrovert.
Right.
And when I get comfortable in a situation, you'll see me laughing. You'll see me trying to make jokes. I think I'm a bit funny.
Yes.
I think I am. But yes, it comes from, again, that whole thing of me growing up in a home where I never got to basically go out and basically be out and about like a normal teenager.
Okay.
So being at home and just being grounded, not grounded, but like being at home and, just in your own circle, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
You're so used to being by yourself, spending time with God, just you and your own person. And then my husband came into my life, well, back then my boyfriend, and he was more outgoing. He was more like outspoken, if you want to put it that way. And he brought that aspect out of me, but I've always been adventurous. I think I brought the adventurousness out of him, but more of like being open and being able to speak. And I've always been a speaker. I can basically read.
Yeah, you do talk,
public speaking, I can't do that. But it's different from being in a circle of people and having to converse. So I was bad with networking. Like networking is like for me the worst thing. I get serious anxiety. I'm just like, okay, who do I need to talk to?
You were the quiet kid at school.
Was I?
Yeah, I experienced you as very quiet. I don't remember you
loud
or Papa being all over the place, but
Yes.
I do remember you being very friendly, very engaging, but in like your own space. Like somebody would have to come to your space to engage you.
100%. Yeah. That is true.
Okay. And so then you guys then bring these sides out of each other.
Yes.
And you say, who says, let's do this YouTube channel thing?
It was me.
Okay.
Surprisingly, it was me.
Okay.
And he said no.
And this is the adventurous side,
exactly.
Right? He said no.
He said no. Because I was watching a lot of YouTube couples. I enjoyed watching YouTube couples, especially interracial couples. I don't know why. I was just fascinated. I was just like, oh, this is interesting. And I told him, I'm like, babe, let's do this. Let's start a channel. And he's like, no. I don't want to do that. I'm like, oh, okay. Kanti, my guy is planning a whole proposal, and he tricked me by buying a small camera, a GoPro, and then we went for our annual anniversary getaway.
Yeah.
And we started filming. I thought I was filming for the anniversary getaway.
Yeah.
Kanti, my guy's gonna propose in the middle of it all. So that was beautiful. And then we started our channel. Then I was like, oh, now we can start our channel.
So did he do that knowing that he would like that to launch into this idea you proposed?
It's because I told him that if you ever want to propose to me, make sure there's a camera.
Yes.
And make sure that my nails are
done.
My nails have to be done.
Yes.
Because during that time, I was watching a lot of TV, and I was watching Say Yes to the Dress. I was watching, all these getting married. I don't know why. Because we've been dating for 7 years. But I wasn't expecting it. Because...
though. Did it catch you by surprise?
It literally a surprise.
Is it the day? Is the surprise that I didn't expect it today, or I didn't expect the proposal?
I think we started having conversations about we want to get married, because initially I didn't want to get married. Initially, I was not a girl for marriage. I was just like, no, I don't want to get married. It's fine. I can have a child, but I don't want to get married.
Right.
Because I was already past the age of 25. And for me, I wanted to have my first child at 25.
Okay.
So and now this is past. So I got proposed to when I was 26. Yeah, 26. Got married when I was 27.
So he just made it.
He just made it.
He just made it.
I still wanted a child at 25.
Okay.
So yeah. So that's literally the journey that it was. Yeah.
And looking back in how, we all can get into 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
I'm very structured.
Okay.
As a pilot,
you have
to be structured, and I'm so structured. And having someone who's not, it's sometimes a bit of a tug of war, because it's like, babe, we have to leave at this time. We need to go at this time. We need to do this. Like, I'm very, very structured. So it is tough sometimes.
Okay. So looking back, would you still stick to that structure? Get married at 24, 23, have a kid at 25. Now that you've done it, now you're a mom, you know what it takes. Now you've been married for a while, you know what marriage, what goes into marriage. Would you still at 23, 24 say you should have gotten married, or?
Would I have? I think I still wanted a child a bit earlier than what I got the child at.
How old are you now?
I am 32.
Okay.
I think I'm finished 32.
So you had a child at 31.
I had a child at 31.
Okay.
Which I feel like is a bit old for my personal reasons.
Yes.
But yeah, getting married younger. That's a very interesting question. I think I would have kept it the way things turned out. Yeah. With regards to marriage, we spent 7 years together getting to know each other, going through ups and downs.
Right.
And then once we got married, we again, having to tackle the fact that, oh, now we have a house, now we've got things to pay. Now we've got, a life to build together.
Yeah.
And then we finally got on our feet, and then we started traveling, which was amazing. Yeah. And then, now we settled. So we got our child at the perfect time where we were ready. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that, God took us on a journey, and things weren't rushed. And, now we are arguing about things, and now we do not have the emotional capacity to now give our love to a child because we are not yet strong enough. So I'm happy that things actually worked out the way they were.
What was that doing things younger? What, like, wanting it to be at this age? What was that about?
I think if we traveled earlier, I think that would be better.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for me, traveling was a very important.
Why earlier though? There's a theme of earlier. So be it travel, marriage, child. There's something about doing it younger or earlier than what you consider old. You know what I mean?
Okay, from what I've seen or observed, in America, like you see younger people or people in their 20s, they are so accomplished. They look like they've got things all together. They've sorted. They've got a car at that age.
They have homes, houses.
That's what I was about to say. 25, they've got houses. They've got, cars. They're financially okay at that young age. And you now look at it and you compare it to South Africans. Only now at the age of 30, now you are accomplished. Right. Only now at the age of 30, you get a house, so you buy your dream car. Right. For me, it's like, but like, why can't, because it already feels, I think I had this conversation with my husband yesterday, and I said, I'm already 30. Like, it feels like, time is going. If I had a child younger, now you're worried that, oh my gosh, will I live long enough to be there for him when he's in his 20s, in his 30s, in his 40s, because now you're getting older. Now having children when you're older as well, now you're thinking about complications. You're thinking about, oh my goodness, is my body healthy? We are exercising now. We started CrossFit, and it's hectic. It's hectic. My body doesn't know how to squat anymore.
It forgot.
When I was in my 20s, I could squat for days.
Welcome to the third floor.
Exactly.
Welcome.
My knees are hurting. Like, I can feel my knees.
Yes.
Walking up the stairs is a mission. So, but now I love what he said this morning. He said to me that you're not exercising to show off your body, to be like, oh, look at me. I'm at the beach. Look at me. I'm, got the hourglass figure. No, you're exercising so that you can keep up with your child.
Yes.
as he grows up, because he's about to start running around. He's about to,
I love that.
everywhere. So now you need to keep up with him. Not that you're exhausted. Now you're sitting there like, yo, my baby, no, I can't run anymore after you. Sorry.
Yes.
So you're keeping fit for that. But now, if I had started, if he was maybe when I got him, if I got him when I was 25, I would have been a bit more youthful. My body would have been more youthful. I would have had more energy for him. But mentally, I'm at the perfect age.
Right.
Physically, it's like now I'm rushing. Now I'm like, okay, I've got first child. I wanted 5 children.
Okay.
Before.
And now?
And now I'm like, I think I'm gonna keep it at 2.
Now
I think I'm gonna keep it at 2. I love seeing big families. I love seeing it. I want, I would love on a Christmas table, there's like lots of us and we're all surrounded. Every child has their partner and we're all, have you seen those new trending videos of the couple that meets and then their children come together?
Yes.
And then their husbands come together.
Yes.
I love those videos because that's like, oh, if I had only started, with children when I was earlier, I would definitely have a big family. I want that Christmas feel of a big family.
Okay.
That's what I wanted.
Okay, that makes sense to me. I used to say I want 7 children there. And then I had 1.
Yeah.
And then I got into a toddler phase.
Yes.
I'm like,
no.
But I hear that. So you are, do you come from a big family?
We 5 in total. So my parents
so that's
and 3 siblings. Well, myself and 2 younger siblings.
Okay. And that's where that draw to wanting the big family comes
I think it's
from?
also being in the house and just not being surrounded by a lot of people during festivity times.
Okay.
When you watch the Kardashians and you see, how it feels like when everybody comes together for birthdays, when everybody comes together for, Christmas. For me, that's what I long for. I long
that
for
sense of community.
But yeah.
But now, okay, woman to woman. I absolutely hear and respect that and wanting that. Now I've got like context of, okay, there was a goal here for this.
Yes.
It also, though, a lot of women feel this way. Like there's a theme of feeling like you're running out of time.
Yes.
And that's like anxiety provoking for a lot of us. Like, oh my gosh, will I get to the thing? Will I get to, will I? And I have a very older mother. She had me later.
Okay.
So even as a child, I used to have like anxiety of, is my mom gonna die? Because back then, like, your parents would die at like 50, so there's that anxiety. But then what?
Dreamstream, a place to create yourself. Record video, music, and podcasts in our full-service studio. Record video, music, and podcasts in our full-service studio. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
Watching her live, she's 70 now.
Wow.
She is still healthy.
Beautiful.
She's helping raise her grandchild, energetic, like still on her shoulders, that sort of thing. I wonder if the conversation there for women is women like her maybe seeing them to say, no, you're not running out of time. No, you can have your 3 kids if you want. What your husband said, what it takes is a change of perspective. Okay, what it takes is eating healthy, investing in your body, in your mind, the things that keep you young.
Yeah.
Because a lot of young people aren't healthy.
Right.
Actually. In their 20s, I can outrun you. I can keep up with you.
True.
And you're like, no.
Yeah.
I don't know if that, do you think, what do you think of that perspective?
Yes, it is really about perspective and how you view things. How do I put it? I'm happy that your mom is she's still up and running. But the problem, I guess in this phase, it's all about faith.
Okay.
You have to keep faith that God, you will keep me till such a time.
Yes.
Don't let the fear roll in to be like, you know what, you might go at 50. You might go anytime. Yeah. To be honest.
Yeah.
So I think it's just keeping the faith that, you know what, it's fine. I got my child at this age. Because now I'm thinking about number 2, you know. But Number 2 is like, okay, do I go back and start flying again? How long will that take me?
Okay.
And now, when will I have my second child?
Right.
You know, when will I have my third child? So it also is about career. You know, where are you with your career? Am I done being a pilot or not? Am I going to continue being a pilot? And even as an aviator, you know, you're going to be away from your children. So is it wise to be to have about 5 kids while you're flying around the world? So there's a lot of factors that are playing here. There's a lot of thinking, a lot of compromising. You know, have I succeeded everything that I wanted to succeed? And that's also going back to aviation. That aviation is such a slow progress. It could be fast depending on if you are blessed enough to go into the right platforms.
Right.
You know, but if you took the slower route, you know, do you still want to reach captain? How long will it take you to reach that captaincy? You know, so. There's a lot of factors that are at play. Even if as a woman you're like, you know, time frame. It's good to look at time frame because it allows you to set goals.
Yes.
If you have goals that by 30, you know, you want this accomplished, and if you haven't, then hopefully 35. I mean, during my pregnancy mommy exercise classes, I was the youngest.
Okay.
Most of the mommies were older mommies.
Okay.
Or in their 40s.
How was that?
With their firstborns.
Oh, okay.
So for me, it's like, no, I don't want to be a 40-year-old, you know, pregnant mother. I don't want, because I've got an uncle who's a gynae. There are risks.
Yes, there are.
To being pregnant at that age. And you don't want to be constantly worried about, oh my goodness, is my baby okay? Are they fine? You know, I mean, I was pregnant with my first pregnancy and I had complications. And now I was thinking and blaming myself. I was like, you know, did I start late? Did I wait too long? You know, was it my fault? What was going on? What was happening? You know, you start blaming yourself because of age. So there are factors, you know, to age.
And it's one, I wanted to say, yes, it's a faith thing, but faith without works, right, is the word. And you sound to me like you're putting in the work. You know what I mean? So I think there's something about holding on to that you don't come across as an oblivious person. You and your husband are holding each other accountable. You holding yourself accountable. You're mindful. You know, when you said I'm structured, that takes a lot of being mindful and thoughtful. And I think there's something about, you know, as women holding on to that so that the anxiety can decrease. But you're bringing in a very important factor that is specific to us, which is how many layers we need to factor in, right? Your counterparts just get to fly, perhaps. Maybe that's an assumption I make. But yeah, like a lot of men have that male privilege of not having to think of, you know, body clock and nurturing the baby, if that's what you know, a woman desires to do in a particular way. You know, if I want to breastfeed, what that looks. And in your field, do you think that, you know, we spoke about funding and all of that, do you think that also plays a role in why we see so few women in your industry? Because you then have to sacrifice if you want a bit of everything.
Right? I love that. A bit of everything. Yes, you do have to sacrifice. And you just have to choose what are you willing to sacrifice. I'm grateful that I stopped flying from my first pregnancy and into the second pregnancy. I didn't apply for any jobs. That now I could spend time with my son, and I've enjoyed it so much. I loved it. I love every moment. And yes, I am breastfeeding. So yes, that does take time. You know, I'm up in the middle of the night and I'm breastfeeding. So I used to think about it. I'm like, okay, if I was flying, you know, if I'm away, obviously it's expressing, but also expressing is not fun.
No, that thing is work.
It's work.
That thing is a whole other situation.
It's a lot of work. And there's also other work, like all the things that I have to eat in order for me to be able to produce. And most importantly,
how much you need to rest to actually pump.
But do I rest? I don't rest. I seriously don't rest. I can't take a nap. That's my problem.
You don't nap when he naps? Let me not even judge you. That's true.
I can't take an afternoon snooze. After church, my husband plays for the church band, and he can nap after church. I look at him and I'm like, you're napping.
Must
that's
be nice.
I'm like, that's nice. For me, I can't take a nap. It's so hard for me to nap in the afternoons. Therefore, And then
is it because of the hours you work, or have you always just
I think
not
I've
been a napper?
always never been a napper.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's so difficult for me to nap. But yeah, then I'm up in the night and I feed him. So I most probably sleep only like 4 or 5 hours at night. Because now at night, the problem at night is that he goes to sleep early, about 6, 7. Baby. But now the nighttime is now mommy and daddy time to spend and watch a movie. Because that's our thing. We love watching movies. So then we watch movies. Then the movie ends at like 11 and then I go to sleep. I sleep literally for 1 hour. Then baby wakes up. And I'm like, okay, now I'm up. Okay, but it's just adapting. Like I said, you just maybe I have that adapting personality. I know how to work around a situation. Even if I'm sleeping for a little bit, it's fine. I understand the phase that he's in, and I'm not gonna cry about it. I know there are women who are frustrated about it, but for me, it's like, but he's only little for so long.
Right.
It's okay. Like if I don't sleep for a couple of hours, it's fine, you know. And there are some times at night where my husband helps me out, which is fine, but he still needs a boob, and therefore I'm awake when he.
Is your industry flexible? Like industries are different where I think motherhood and parenthood is more considered. Like, could he fly with you? Not like but could you take him around, or is that like not well received?
Well, I haven't flown with him as a pilot yet, which is it will come in soon. But I've flown with my husband, which is great.
Okay.
So when I used to be based in Cape Town, he would then fly down to Cape Town with me and he'd stay in Cape Town with me. And that's how we worked around our content creation is that, we know that we've got 2 brands that we need to film for. Okay, let's go to Cape Town. I'm staying there for 5 days, doing nothing for 5 days. Come there, let's film there, fly back together. If he's not flying with me in the same aircraft, he'll then fly via a commercial aircraft and then fly back. So the great part is that he works for himself. We are content creators, so he's able to travel with me. So I'm guessing as a mother as well, my son will be able to travel with me wherever I go. And that's now the adjustment that we have to do as a family.
Right.
Whether it be financially taxing, it's okay because it's just for a short while.
Right.
And when we get there as well, you get to explore a little bit, which is the benefits. So you need to also look at the benefits. Do they outweigh the negatives?
Because that's how you and Modise actually maintained your long distance relationships. I did a little bit of my research.
Yes.
There was a time in training, you were based
Port Alfred.
Port Alfred. Mm-hmm. And so it requires the kind of partner that then sacrifices to say, you know, and maintain that connection. I will join in. And perhaps then motherhood pilot, you know, I'm thinking of the woman who says, I want to do this career and I want to get into it, but I don't know how I'm going to get all my bits. It would also take teaching your child the character trait of compromise and 100%. Sacrifice and seeing, you know, when you said adaptability, what I'm hearing from you also is seeing the light in something that's not ideal. So him seeing my mom as showing me the world. I get to travel more than my peers, which comes at an advantage. Traveling offers you so much.
Exactly.
So I'm hearing a bit of that as a thread.
Yeah. I think that you just have to look at the brighter side of life. I think that's very important. You spoke about something a little bit earlier now. What did you say?
Traveling, sacrifice, character trait, long distance.
Yes. Teaching him how to adapt.
Yes.
A simple one is just knowing that mommy's now getting busy. Now he has to adapt to that, but he's in the phase of being a Velcro baby. So now he needs to learn that, no, mommy's going to come back. It's okay. Right. I'll be back just now. Even if I'm going to the shops for 2 minutes, he knows that, okay, bye. Yeah. I'm coming back just now. So, I think I'm teaching my child to be a strong man. I don't know.
Do you know what it is in psychological terms?
No.
You're teaching him a secure attachment. Do you know what that is? Okay, so we have different types of attachment that come from our caregivers. Even if it's not our parents. Some of us were raised by our grandparents, whoever, aunts, uncles. A secure attachment, in layman's terms, is you can leave, as you have come here now to spend time with me. And over consistency and time in you showing up, he knows that you're coming back.
Yes.
So he settles. When you leave, he cries.
A
Like,
little bit, yeah.
Don't leave. And then when you call daddy, he's like, no, he's fine. I want to take a nap.
Literally,
He's fine.
yeah.
And when you come back, he's excited to see you again. He's able to receive you.
Yes.
Versus other types of attachment where you hear, I leave, the child never settles. Ngwana ha sale Allah throughout. And when they come back, when you come back, that's when they are able to get that reassurance, or they still don't settle. Or another way is they neither here nor there. They don't notice you leaving. They don't care about you leaving. Yeah, that's a hard one.
That's tough.
They don't notice you coming back.
Oh no. I think one thing we really wanted to do is be involved in our child's life, and it's also important to have backup. I have a nanny who is really helping me with that. So it's I think having a good support system, and I'm so grateful that my husband is there as well. Not that both parents are away. It's only just one parent that will go and come back
at a time.
At a time. So I think also that's a benefit. I mean, my husband also has his times where he plays soccer, five-a-side soccer. He goes for band practice. So he has these times where he's away.
Dreamstream, a place to create yourself. Record video, music, and podcasts in our full-service studio. Record video, music, and podcasts in our full-service studio. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
But there are times where I'm away, and then there's times where we're both away. We need a date night. Every Monday, date night, we're away. So, yeah, but I think you'll be fine.
So it's possible. I mean, what I'm hearing from you is it's somebody once said to me, a mentor once said to me, you can have it, you can juggle multiple balls, just not at the same time. It's knowing which one to put down.
Okay.
So what I'm hearing from you now is that the one that's down now is career. I'm holding the one of my family, my romantic relationship, and my child and parenthood.
Yes.
And I'm trying to figure out how I pick up the other one and which one I'll put down for a little bit so that I can get the other bits. Because I'm such a multifaceted person. And you speak about God a lot. You're a spiritual person.
Yes.
So I imagine you operate from the place of purpose.
Yes. Even though for the longest time, I did not know what that is.
Okay.
I did not know what purpose is.
Okay.
And literally when God is like poking you, like.
So what is purpose?
I still don't know. There's so many times where people come to us and they say, whatever you and your husband are doing is so purpose driven. And I'm just like, really? I never thought about it. Because what we're doing is literally just living our life and just as it is, as transparent as it is. We're not trying to put up a front. We're not trying to, set goals and say we need to be the most perfect couple. No, we just literally are living our life. And for people to find inspiration from that is amazing. Even for you to tell me that, that I'm an amazing woman and for the longest time, I just don't give myself enough credit.
Yeah.
I don't see what people see from me.
Yeah.
I'm literally just God-centered and just living my life. So I found bits and pieces of what my purpose is. For the longest time, I see now that, okay, I'm in a beautiful, healthy marriage. So my purpose is that I need to show that there is such a thing as a beautiful, healthy marriage because I didn't grow up in a space where it was healthy. So now that it took me a while to be like, oh, okay, I see you, God. You want me to do it. I don't want to do it, but okay, it's fine. I'll continue doing it because that's what you want me to do. And I will be obedient to that. Then the other purpose is being an inspiration to women that you can be strong. You can be soft and you can be hard at the same time. You can go after your dreams no matter what. You need to be resilient. And the other word that a lot of people use as well for me is tenacity. And I'm like, okay.
Tenacious.
I am tenacious. I'm like, okay, that's very, very, very nice. I don't see it until someone tells me. I'm like, oh, that's what I'm doing. Okay. Because I'm not looking out for compliments. I'm not looking out for people to give me accolades. Because all I'm doing is living my life so that maybe others can be inspired if they are inspired by me. So with aviation now, I've been wanting to start an aviation-based channel.
You did say.
And I've been procrastinating. Like, I've had this idea for years. I've literally...
Talk me through that. On the phone, you said something about imposter syndrome.
I have imposter syndrome. I literally filmed it. I think I had an episode that I filmed 2017 or 2018, and then I didn't post it.
Wow.
I have an episode, two episodes that I filmed. I did not post it in 2020. And then the recent one was when I was pregnant, because I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. Let me just film. I filmed the same episode again, Did I post it? No, I didn't post it.
Talk me through that process. So what is happening for you? You said procrastination, you said imposter syndrome.
Yes. For me, I think it's aviation is sure, it's like my career, obviously, and I'm thinking about everybody else who are higher than me. So I'm like thinking about the instructors. I'm thinking about those who are in airlines. I'm scared of saying the wrong thing. I'm scared of saying, oh no, you only need 200 hours to do this. But then somebody will be like, no, that's wrong. That's incorrect. I'm scared of being wrong, because it's such a big deal. And you're also trying to encourage people to go after the job. But at the same time, it's also that because of aviation is so emotionally taxing, it was that whole thought of, do I want someone to actually start in the aviation industry when I know that it's so hard, when I know financially it's so hard, when I know that emotionally you will have your dark days. If you're not an emotionally strong person, it's going to be tough. And if you also just listen to outside world too much, it's not going to work for you. If you're not adaptable, it's not going to work for you. So for me, it was like, how do I encourage people to start in aviation when really it's really, really tough? So that's why I think it's been such a long time for me to actually start the channel. But this year, God has spoken so many times.
Yes, like coming here.
Like literally, God has spoken so many times. I'm like, okay, I hear you. I promise I hear you. And I finally started last week, which is amazing.
Yes.
Praise God. It's just a matter of now I need to get a posting date and actually post it. But it will be posted. It will. I promise you it will, because I now understand that even though it will be hard for someone, even though they might not succeed, but if they try and if it's their passion, if they love it, then why not start? Why not start? Why not give that information, and the people will decide to do whatever that they want to do with it.
Yeah. But Regomoditswe, you know what it is? In South Africa, we don't have the luxury of information or access to it in the way that is impacting and real and immediate. So a lot of us, talking about time, a lot of us lose time, not only because it wasn't God's purpose, but because we just don't have access.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then when you talk about it, the person who's
Listening.
wherever gets to learn without having to even pay.
I hear you.
To get the gems that you already have. You don't need to be up here to, you know what I mean?
I hear you.
So it's the same in psychology. The reality is to get in and practice is hard. Not a lot of people get into the program because the funding is so limited. And in a year per institution, they're only accepting anything between 6 and 12 students yearly.
Yeah.
I got fortunate and blessed, to be quite honest, not to find out the hard way. But the amount of South African students that then go all the way to an honors, and then you need to work and you realize you can't do much with honors in psychology per se if you want to practice, because you can't practice a lot on. And then the reality check of the chances just statistically to get into a master's program that will help you practice are very slim.
Sure.
Not because of talent, not because of academic ability, but because if an institution is taking 6 to 12 people, there's only going to be 12 of us out of 500 applicants. Do you understand? So for you to then create a platform where you're saying that, and then you have a market for, there's a you out there who's not at the highest level.
Yeah, true.
there's a grace for you to make mistakes.
True.
And then there's an opportunity for the other pilot to say, no, actually, guys, it takes 500 hours. And that, for me, that engagement is like so important, and ultimately it also grows you. But I absolutely hear and resonate with. I told you this, no? It took me 5 years to do this thing. So I don't want to dismiss how crippling imposter syndrome is, but I think sometimes we can get
comfortable.
Not even comfortable. I think it really is disabling. That fear is crippling.
Yeah.
And we don't realize the other side of it.
Right.
The value of what you are bringing and giving.
True.
As you share your experience.
True.
And giving somebody the option.
Right.
Do I actually want to get into this thing? Because I thought it was this. But what I heard there yesterday. And I think that will save us a lot, actually.
True.
As people.
Yeah, thank you for that. No, it definitely is encouraging.
I look forward to it. Like I have an interest in it because my daughter has an interest in planes and cars and all sorts of. So I think even just educating myself to know what is it, and I have this idea of what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
That is gonna do great.
Thank you. Thank you.
You do a lot of empowerment talks, a lot of women talks.
Yes.
Tell me about all that. You pour a lot into women.
I do. I really do. Women are beautiful, man. Women are amazing, and we need to start realizing that it's not only on the outside, and that was also another contributing factor for me, was that, people would be like, oh, you're so pretty, and it's like, I don't want to be called just pretty. I don't want to just be a pretty girl. I want to be a pretty girl with brains. I want to be a pretty girl whose heart is after God's heart.
Can I interrupt you a bit?
Sure.
Do you still get that, like, where in your field you are beautiful, right?
Thank you.
You are. Did it interrupt people taking you seriously? Like, no, I do have the brains. I actually know how to fly. I know.
No.
I had a friend before who actually trained with you, and her experience was very negative. It was actually so traumatic, where because she was so gorgeous, she'd get hit on by instructors.
Okay.
It disrupted the process. It just wasn't a pleasant. She wasn't seen as a pilot or a student. She was seen as a doll.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I hear it when women say, I don't just want to be beautiful, because it comes with so many dismissive layers. And
that is true.
Did that factor in for you?
No, thank God, no.
Okay.
Thank God, no. I don't know what it was. I don't know. Maybe it was because I was already dating someone. Maybe there was a contributing factor,
like
that
a protective.
I think so.
Just
that
them
they
knowing
that, oh no, she's already taken. Maybe they don't hit on her, or maybe I just don't give it power and I don't give it attention. If someone is wanting my attention, I've never really given anyone the time of day. Yeah. So I think as a woman, you just need to be, know your values and know that, what, if you're in that environment and there are people coming after you, just don't focus on that negative, focus on a positive. So I didn't get that.
Because it can get extreme, like a whole sexual harassment thing where people aren't advancing you. I mean, it's not only in aviation, you hear it in corporate a lot, where the whole concept of sleeping your way to the top because you get cornered into, you know what I mean?
Oh no, that is sad, and that is devastating, I think, for women to even experience that. And if you are in that environment, I think you should leave it, go find an opportunity somewhere, because maybe report it as well, because I know it's hard to report things. And
is your industry small though? Because reporting comes with
a
lot of like blocking future endeavors. And
but then it wasn't for you, right? God won't place you in a situation that's uncomfortable. God knows that if it's a hard situation, you're going to come through it. You're going to get out of it, and shine a light on people that are bad.
Right.
But if you can't get through to that, then that means no. This is not the right place. Don't force things. Like, get out.
Right. Yeah. Right. I interrupted you. You were talking about, women empowerment, and wanting us to know that it's not just the outward appearance. And
Yes. I think for me, like I said, it's not about just being beautiful, which is important as well. You also need to acknowledge who you are as well. I mean, I didn't decide to look like this. God, God made me like this.
In his image.
In his image, right? And I also had to understand that, no, you are a child of God, you know? So therefore, it's okay to be pretty as well. Because sometimes you'll be like, no, man, this is not, I'm uncomfortable in my own skin. I'm uncomfortable being so pretty, you know? So, but then I had to realize that it's okay. It's fine. You know, even when people compliment me, I'll be so shocked. I'll be like, oh, really? You know, it didn't click like to me because
you shut that part of you down.
Yes, it's not like I focus on it. Like, I know how to put on my makeup, that's fine, but it's not what I focus on. It's not what I don't look at myself like 10 times in the mirror, although I do love mirrors. I love mirrors, but it's not like I stare at myself in the mirror all the time. But I do appreciate now that, you know what, I'm made in the image of God, and that it's okay to look this way. But also I think it's also encouraging women to stand firm in who they are. If they're in unhealthy relationships, you need to get out of it. If you are trying to achieve a goal or trying to break barriers in a very male-dominated industry, you can do it. You know, and you don't have to do it in the most vicious way. Do it with grace. Do it with grace. I like
what you said. You can be soft and hard at the same time.
At the same time, and those around you will respect the person that you are. You know, don't try to conform to anybody else. Just be who you are. And I guess again, it's self-love. It took me a long time to love myself and to be like, oh, you know, you are great. You know, you need to encourage yourself. As much as I can save so many quotes on Pinterest or, you know, read motivational books, you know, at the end of the day, it's about me speaking to myself and knowing that you are worthy and that you are capable of things unimaginable because you've got Christ with you, not because of your own abilities.
Right.
So that's what I try to convey with my motivational talks is to just encourage women to just, you know, be the best that they can be.
Yeah. You see, and this is why conversations like this are important, and to help one another overcome our fears, right? Which is, earlier you spoke about marriage and not seeing a healthy marriage. There are so many people who grow up from single-headed households.
Yes.
And so you repeat patterns because you've never seen one. I had a conversation with a friend just yesterday who said, I've seen long marriages. I've never seen long, healthy marriages.
Right.
So yours and your husband's platform then give people like that. Of course, we don't see you guys in real time all the time, but we get like snippets of this is what health looks like.
Yeah.
Because you guys also address a lot of like topics that are real, that are, you know, we can all relate to.
Yeah.
So you get to see that. And then you have like a today's conversation where you see, okay, it's multi-layered and this is how you navigate through it. Oh, okay, this person that is so successful is like me. She struggles with this, you know? Yeah. And then we're going to witness you soon braving it out. And it's such a thread of learning and normalizing a human experience. You know, it's such a normalizing of a human experience that I think sometimes you can underestimate when you say you don't see you the way we see you.
I think what's important is to break down the barrier of perfection. I think if everything is perfect, then there's nothing that's perfect. Absolutely. Really, the only perfection is in heaven. So for me, it's like learning that if I'm talking to my husband and we're sharing these things on our platform, it's realizing that, no, man, we need to be open with people. We need to be able to talk conversations that we normally talk about. You know, why are we shy to talk about sex? Why are we shy to talk about the hardships that we have in a relationship? There are people, there are couples in our community, you know, around us who need to hear these conversations, who are not going to hear it anywhere else. Right. If you ask your parents, they're not gonna tell you.
Or they don't even know.
Yeah. I've realized that sometimes they don't know, and it's okay if they don't know, you know, but if you know and you've got the information, then why not give it? And I think that also now ties back to the aviation information that, you know, man, you know, give out the information, because if you don't tell anybody else, how will they learn? So I think it's just to demystify perfection. There's no such thing as perfection, and the perfection is what you put as your own limit. but also don't limit yourself too much. If something is wrong, a small thing is wrong or out of frame, if my hair is not in the right angle, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. So it's just to roll with the punches in life. God did say that it's not going to be easy, but he'll be there with you. So as long as he's there with you, life will be beautiful, and I think for me, you're not trying to hide or trying to say that no, bad things don't happen. They do, but it's just beautiful. The journey is beautiful, and that's what I was trying to say with with my son, that if he cries a lot, or if he throws tantrums, and I'm not saying that everybody's story is different, but for me, what I've learned is that I'm going to let him be in the phase that he is in his life right now. I'm going to teach him how to handle situations, but if he wants to cry and if he wants to wake up 5 times in the middle of the night,
you're going to create space for him.
I'm going to create space for him so that he can learn, because he's not a 25-year-old adult. He's literally a 10-month-old baby who just is trying to figure out life.
And even at 25, we need people to create spaces for our human experiences.
Exactly. So you need to just be patient with yourself. You need to be patient with the next person as well, and that we're all learning in life. We're just trying to figure things out, and it's okay also to understand that even like you said, at my age now, 30, I'll learn something new every day. So also be open to the fact that you're learning something every day. If you're not learning something new, that means like there's nothing more to learn. Then what are you doing in life? But at 70, I'll most probably still learn something new, that my child will come to me and be like, hey, did you know this? I'll be like, no, I don't. So be adaptable and know that and not a perfectionist as well.
Okay, we could talk. There's so many things I wanted to ask you about motherhood, about Modise, about all things, but that means you'll come back. I hope.
Sure.
But thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. I think what I take from today is that adaptability, and maybe I need a bit of structure in my life, but just you can be soft and hard at the same time, and you are multifaceted as a person, as a woman. I think that stuck out for me, and I just want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Especially being away from you going to rush and beat traffic.
Beat traffic, yes.
So I'm hoping that you guys at home, when you watch this, you see a different side of Regomoditswe. She gives a lot of herself already on her channel. Those of you who don't know her, go check her and her husband out. Wonderful platform. Cannot wait for the podcast.
Yes.
It's going to be amazing. I already know.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And all the best with your podcast.
Thank you.
For many, many more episodes. Yes.
I receive. Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless. Bye.